All right, listener, buckle up. Today we're going deep on five-year-olds. We're talking unlocking the wonders of the fives. You sent in some excerpts, and wow, is this book ever jam-packed?
It really is. Five is such a pivotal year. I mean, they just grow by leaps and bounds, don't they?
Seriously. The book really digs deep into the whole cognitive development thing. Like, did you know their prefrontal cortex is basically exploding right now?
Oh, yeah, that prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
Decision-making, impulse control, it's all happening.
Exactly. So that explains, you know, why they can plan a little better now.
Right, they can think ahead a bit more.
Yeah.
But they still have those classic five-year-old moments where the brakes just aren't there yet.
Totally. The book actually uses the analogy of learning to drive. Like, they're figuring out the gas, but haven't mastered the brake.
Perfect analogy. They're testing boundaries, figuring out the world.
And those big feelings, they just come out.
Big time. And speaking of, we can't forget language development. Five-year-olds, they understand something like 14,000 words on average. It's incredible.
It's mind-blowing.
They
But they don't always get all the nuances, right?
Right, exactly. Like, they might use the right word, but in a totally off context.
Oh, my niece does that all the time. She's 5. And the other day she told me my new haircut was adequate. I'm like, thanks.
That's a perfect example. They're absorbing all these words, but the shades of meaning, the social cues, it's still developing.
So we got to be careful how we talk to them. Keep it clear. Avoid sarcasm, you know.
Absolutely. No complex jokes for five-year-olds.
Not yet. Which reminds me of this amazing point the book makes. Play. It's not just fun and games.
Oh, absolutely not. It's their work. It's how they learn.
It's their primary way of learning, the book says. And I love that. It emphasizes how through play, they're actually building problem-solving skills, social skills, even physical stuff like coordination.
It's all happening through play, imaginative play especially. They're experimenting, taking on roles, figuring out cause and effect.
It's amazing. The book actually encourages parents to get involved, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Create scenarios with them, ask them questions.
Right, like open-ended questions. Let them lead the way. It's all about nurturing that creativity.
Absolutely. And speaking of big changes, the book also talks about that big question lots of parents have.
Kindergarten.
Is my 5-year-old ready?
Ready for kindergarten? Yeah. It's a huge transition.
Huge. And the book outlines some key things to look for, like basic literacy and numeracy, following direction,
Right, basic social skills.
and some independence.
Yeah,
Can they handle being away from you for a bit?
exactly. The book even suggests practicing short separations, like having them spend some time with a relative or a babysitter.
So they get used to it.
Ease that separation anxiety. It's a big step for everyone.
For sure. You know, another thing that surprised me was how much the book focuses on fine motor skills.
Those little hands.
Yeah. I knew it was important for writing, but I didn't realize how much more.
It's foundational, really. Buttoning a shirt, using scissors, eventually typing. It all comes back to those small muscles.
So it's way more than just pretty drawings and Legos.
Way more. And the book has some great suggestions for activities, too, like Play-Doh,
Oh,
puzzles,
the classic Play-Doh. I've got that covered.
bead stringing. Even those tiny Lego pieces are great for fine motor skills.
That's good to know because I have bins and bins of those.
Perfect. You're all set.
I am curious, though, what does the book say about those classic 5-year-old meltdowns?
Those out-of-nowhere explosions.
Exactly. Because their emotional regulation, it's still a work in progress, right?
Oh, big time. They're feeling a wider range of emotions than ever before, but they don't have the tools yet to really manage those big feelings.
So tantrums, emotional outbursts, that's all normal.
Completely normal. Think of it like this. They're feeling all these intense things, but they don't have the words to express them. And they don't know how to cope yet.
So it's on us, the adults.
Exactly. We're their guides. And that means empathy, patience, and figuring out what they're trying to tell us.
Decoding those meltdowns.
Exactly. It's like they're speaking a different language.
So what does the book suggest we do in those moments?
Well, first, get down on their level. Make eye contact. Use a calm, soothing voice.
Okay, so meet them where they are.
Right. And acknowledge their feelings, even if you don't agree with them.
Validate how they're feeling.
Exactly. You can say something like, I see you're really upset. It's okay to be angry, but it's not okay to hit.
So validate the feelings, but set boundaries.
Exactly. And offer comfort and support. Sometimes a hug or just a reassuring word can go a long way.
And of course, we have to model good emotional regulation ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. They're watching us constantly. How we handle our own stress, our own emotions, it's all a lesson for them.
Leading by example.
Big time. So, listener, as we move on to the next part of our deep dive, just remember, Parenting a 5-year-old can be tough.
It has its challenges for sure.
But it's also incredibly rewarding. These little ones, they're full of wonder and curiosity.
They really are.
And they make us laugh every single day. So hang in there and remember,
Unlocking the Wonders of the Fives is an amazing resource. It can really help you make sense of it all.
it can help you navigate this stage with more confidence and hopefully even more joy. Stay tuned for part 2.
Welcome back. I'm so glad we're continuing this exploration of 5-year-olds.
Me too. And as we go further into unlocking the wonders of the fives, one thing keeps coming back to me. It's like we need a whole new perspective to really get these kids.
That's so true. It's easy to get bogged down in the everyday stuff, the tantrums, the messes.
Exactly. But when you step back, you see it's all part of this amazing development they're going through.
Right, like putting on new glasses. Suddenly, their behavior makes so much more sense.
Totally. And one of the biggest aha moments for me was about play. How it's not just about having fun, it's actually how they build these crucial skills.
The book calls it their work, right?
Yeah. Play is their work. It's how they make sense of the world, how they process emotions, how they learn.
And I love how unlocking the wonders of the fives really encourages parents to play with their kids.
To be part of it, yeah.
Not to take over, of course, not to dictate the rules or anything, but to create that space for shared imagination, to go on adventures with them.
Exactly. The book uses the term playful parenting, which I think is so perfect.
It is. It's about getting down on their level, being silly.
Seeing the world through their eyes. Now, of course, parents are people too. We need our downtime.
Totally. It's not like we have to be playing pretend 24/7.
Right. And the book acknowledges that. It's about balance. You can set limits around play.
Like, okay, we can play for an hour, then it's mommy's quiet time.
Exactly. Or we can play in this room, but not in the kitchen while I'm cooking.
Boundaries are good.
They are. The key is to communicate them clearly, respectfully, just like we'd want our kids to do.
It's all about modeling, isn't it?
It really is. Now, speaking of play, I think it's important to remember that not all play is created equal. The book actually breaks it down into different types, each with its own benefits.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Well, we've already talked about imaginative play. That's where they really use their creativity.
The make-believe stuff.
Exactly. Creating stories, characters, worlds. It's amazing for language development, problem solving, even social emotional intelligence.
Wow, it's doing a lot.
It really is. And then you have physical play. Running, jumping, climbing.
Good old-fashioned getting those wiggles out.
It is. And that's important for their gross motor skills, coordination, just being healthy.
Burning off energy.
Yes, but it also has cognitive benefits. Think spatial awareness, problem solving, even emotional regulation.
Wait, physical play helps with emotions.
Yeah, think about it. They're running around, getting all that energy out. They're releasing stress,
Right.
anxiety.
That makes so much sense.
It does. And there's constructive play, too. This is where they build and create.
Legos. My kid is obsessed with Lego.
Perfect example. Blocks, Legos, even just sticks and rocks. They're using materials to make something.
So it's more than just the finished product. It's that process of figuring it out.
Exactly. It's about problem solving, spatial reasoning, fine motor skills, too.
Got it. So we've got imaginative, physical, constructive. Any other type?
Oh, yeah. The book also talks about games with rules. These become super important around age 5.
Board games, you mean?
Yeah, board games, card games, even simple sports. These teach kids to follow instructions, take turns, cooperate.
Learn how to be a good sport.
Exactly. And it introduces them to winning and losing in a safe way.
That's a good point because I think a lot of parents, myself included, we don't like to let our kids lose.
Right, we want them to always feel good.
But it's important for them to learn to handle disappointment, right?
It is. It's part of resilience.
Yeah.
And games with rules, they're a great way to practice those skills.
In a low-stakes environment.
Exactly. Now, unlocking the wonders of the fives isn't just about play. It really dives into their emotional world, too.
Oh, yeah. The emotional roller coaster that is 5 years old.
It is. And one thing that really struck me was the idea that their emotional outbursts, those tantrums, the meltdowns, they're often a form of communication.
They're trying to tell us something.
They are. We tend to see it as bad behavior, but the book says, hey, maybe they just don't have the words yet.
Or the emotional skills to express themselves calmly.
Exactly. So those big reactions, they're a way of communicating their needs, their frustrations.
It's like they're speaking a different language.
It is, and we need to learn how to understand it.
So how do we do that? What does the book suggest?
Well, first, get down on their level, make eye contact, use a calm, soothing voice.
Okay, so meet them where they're at, physically and emotionally.
Right. And acknowledge their feelings. even if you don't agree with them.
So if they're upset because their brother got the blue cup and they wanted the blue cup, you still acknowledge that they're upset.
Exactly. You can say something like, I see that you're really upset right now. It's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to hit.
Validating their feelings while still setting those boundaries.
Exactly. And then offer comfort and support. Sometimes a hug can make all the difference.
Or just a kind word.
Absolutely. And remember, we have to model healthy emotional regulation ourselves.
Because they're watching us all the time.
They are. So if we're yelling and screaming when we're frustrated, they're going to learn to do the same.
Lead by example. It's a constant theme in parenting, isn't it?
It really is. Now, I know we've been focusing on the challenges of parenting a 5-year-old, but I want to emphasize the joys, too.
Oh, yeah, it's not all tantrums and tears.
Not at all. 5-year-olds are so full of wonder, so curious.
They see the world in this amazing way.
And they're hilarious. Their sense of humor is just starting to blossom.
The things they say sometimes, I'm like, where did you come up with that?
Right. They make us laugh every day. And as they get more independent, they also become more affectionate.
More capable of expressing those big feelings, but in a good way.
Exactly. Those spontaneous hugs, the I love yous, those make it all worthwhile.
They really do. So, listener, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, just remember,
Parenting a 5-year-old, it's a journey. It has its ups and downs.
but it's also an incredible privilege.
To watch them grow, to learn alongside them, and if you're feeling lost or overwhelmed,
Unlocking the Wonders of the Fives is such a great resource. It can really help you navigate this stage.
and hopefully enjoy it even more. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll be talking all about fostering a love of learning.
Okay, listener, we're back for the final part of our 5-year-old deep dive. And as we wrap up Unlocking the Wonders of the Fives, I want to talk about something that's really close to my heart: fostering a love of learning.
It's such a great topic to end on. I mean, what could be more important than helping our kids love to learn?
I know, right? But I think a lot of parents, myself included, we wonder, is it nature or nurture? Is it something kids are born with, or can we actually encourage it?
That's the big question, isn't it? And unlocking the wonders of the fives really makes me believe that curiosity, that love of learning, it can be nurtured.
So it's not just about having the right genes.
Not at all. It's about the environment we create for them. An environment that encourages them to explore, to discover, to be curious about the world.
I love that. So, practically speaking, what can we do to create that kind of environment?
Well, the book talks a lot about giving kids open-ended toys and materials, things like blocks, art supplies, things from nature, things that let them experiment and create without too much direction from us.
So it's about letting them take the lead.
Exactly. And being responsive to their interests. If your kid is obsessed with bugs, take them on a bug hunt. Go to the library and get books about bugs. Visit a butterfly garden.
Follow their lead and nurture those passions.
That's it. And don't be afraid to step outside your own comfort zone. Maybe bugs aren't your thing.
Not my favorite, to be honest.
But that's okay. Let your kid be the expert. Let them teach you something.
I love that. Sometimes we have to let go of our own ideas and just embrace what fascinates them.
Absolutely. And remember, learning doesn't have to be all about structured activities or formal lessons. It can happen anywhere, anytime.
It's true.
Right.
Like, even a trip to the grocery store can be a learning experience.
Exactly. Talk about the different fruits and vegetables, read the labels together.
Make it fun.
Exactly. And those everyday conversations, they're so powerful. Ask your kid open-ended questions. Really listen to their answers. Engage in those meaningful back and forth.
It's about being present with them.
It really is. And that, I think, is one of the most important things. Unlocking the wonders of the fives teaches us. It's not about us teaching them. It's about us learning alongside them.
I love that. And it's okay to not have all the answers, right?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes the best learning experiences come from saying, I don't know, let's find out together.
It's about that shared journey of discovery.
Exactly. And for our listeners who want to go on that journey with their 5-year-olds, I highly recommend checking out Unlocking the Wonders of the Fives. We'll have a link in the episode description.
It's an amazing resource, packed with insights and practical tips.
It can really help you navigate the stage, nurture that love of learning, and hopefully make it even more fun for everyone.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? The joy of discovery, the excitement of learning something new.
That's the magic of childhood. And if we can help them hold on to that, even a little bit, I think we've done something amazing.
I couldn't agree more. So, listener, as we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to say, embrace that wonder. Embrace that curiosity that comes so naturally to 5-year-olds.
Let it be contagious. Ask questions, explore together, and most importantly,
Have fun.
have fun. Because learning should be an adventure. It should be joyful. It should be a lifelong journey.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of 5-year-olds. We hope you found it helpful, and we hope you learned something new along the way.
And remember, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Deep Dive for more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics.
Until next time, happy learning hard.